My vision wasn't big enough to see that there was a lot more money in the market. But when I would go on Instagram, I would see all these traders make $40,000 a day, $50,000. I'm sitting there like, what am I doing wrong?
My name is Nour Trades. I'm known for trading stocks. I came up off of interning on Wall Street.
What's showing divergence against the market? What's stronger or the strongest compared to the market, and what's the weakest against the market?
Day trader and the founder of Stock Hours, a day trading signals chat that focuses on scalping strategies to help traders maximize their profits.
Forex can be so manipulated. Just
Correct.
Anybody trading on an MT5, that can all be doctored, manipulated.
I know.
You don't know what to really believe.
I was always scared to go broke. That was the one thing I was scared about. I didn't spend money until like I had like 3-4 million in the bank.
So it's all just about, is the market presenting the opportunity, and do you have the know-how to take advantage of it? Why don't you walk us through what you do with your students, and what is your kind of approach to finding the opportunity and then executing on that?
Okay, so like,
Hey guys, before we get started, I just wanted to offer you access to my exclusive Wolfpack Discord group that's now based on WAP. Basically what you're gonna get in here is something I call the Quantum Cipher Report. This allows you to steal and copy all of my trades and learn my exact trading system. Every Monday, I'm gonna give you the best crypto altcoin picks that are getting ready for explosive moves. I'm also gonna give you the best trade setups in Forex, futures, and CFDs as well. You have to be a multi-asset trader if you truly want to take advantage of the entire trading environment as a whole. Not only that, you're going to get access to the Discord, all of my courses, over 30 hours of recorded educational content, in addition to my TradingView degenerate indicators. Okay, so if you want access to my WAP, there's going to be a link below. Join the Wolfpack and get all of the best trading picks in crypto, Forex, and futures sent to you every Monday. On top of that, 30 hours of educational content so you can learn my entire system, all for one low monthly price. I'll see you there. Nour Trades, what's up, brother?
what's going on?
How's it going, man? Good to have you here.
Amazing. Pleasure to be
You
here.
had an early flight. I guess what time was your flight this morning out of New York?
5 a.m.
Yeah. And you just got here straight to the studio, ready to go.
Yeah.
Actually, I just met you downstairs and you were trading. What was shaking this morning?
Caught Tesla to the upside today, about like a $2-3 move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid. So are you just trading live when you're doing that? Or what's so you just go in front of your audience and
Yeah, I trade every single day live on Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah.
People can join it, but there's like a 5-minute delay.
Okay.
And I also do it on Discord as well.
Yeah. Right on, man. So it's interesting. We were just talking about, you asked me how old I was, and you're like, holy shit,
Yeah.
40.
That's crazy.
You're mentioning that you've been watching me for a long time. So before you kind of got to where you are now, where you've made millions, you've had students who've made millions in trading, mostly stocks, I think, right?
Yeah.
Where did this all start? What were you doing when you first looked at trading? You first also discovered me trading. Like, what was your kind of like situation, and like what kind of led you down this path?
So a quick, brief understanding. The first person I ever watched on YouTube for trading was you.
Yeah.
And I believe like you're probably the only person I ever watched for trading.
Yeah.
Until like later on when it just started getting saturated.
Yeah.
Which was crazy because I would just watch it every day, and you were in Bali at the time, and it was crazy because you would trade at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's awful.
So I used to love watching it because it was a vlog, and then it was me understanding trading at the same time, except you were in penny stocks. I tried to get into penny stocks at the time. It didn't work out for me. It just wasn't my type of trading. Those breakouts, you have to wait a long time for those consolidations. But right after I got introduced to you from YouTube, I ended up getting that internship on Wall Street.
Oh, okay.
So that my life aligned like that. It was you first, which introduced me to trading as a whole, and then Wall Street came after that.
Yeah. So what was the job on Wall Street? What was that internship?
It was literally an internship. We would go, we would help out with paperwork, whatever the team leader needed. There was team leaders for each team at the fund. It was also, they were giving out loans at this fund as well. They're not on Wall Street anymore, but they were on 40 Wall Street. It was PMF.
Yeah, it's interesting because that was my dream, was to go work on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Like my dream from early on was to be a trader or a stockbroker, but I didn't even know what that was. I was just going off of like movies like Wall Street and Boiler Room, which is just like basically a penny stock pump and dump. And then Wolf of Wall Street came out way later afterwards, but that's what I thought my dream was when I was in college and working towards it. I actually got introduced to stocks from my mom and my aunt, who became a member of this website called 3stocksonfire.com, which was ran by these two Portuguese guys that had American pseudonames, but their real names were like these Portuguese names. But that's kind of where I got started. And that led me to being like, okay, maybe I don't even want to be a stockbroker, because the stockbroker is just a salesman trying to bring in client money to earn commissions. They're not like traders or stock pickers per se. They basically have someone who's doing all that for them, and their job is to go get clients to bring in money.
Exactly.
Like my best friend now works for Morgan Stanley, and he's basically just, now he's got my mom's money, got my family friends' money. So it's interesting to see. Do you ever like think about what would that path would have been like if you went down that road, or like what was kind of the decision to get out of that once you were in?
So I didn't really have a choice. I had to go back to high school. I was still in high school at the time. So it was like,
so this is a high school
perfect.
internship.
Yeah, I was 16.
Oh, okay.
And
How
ended
did
up
you even
having to go back.
come across that at it in high school? Like
my
I didn't have
my best
internship
friend's brother
opportunities.
was already working in that, and he ended up getting us an internship that summer. And obviously we're excited. We wore suits every day.
Yeah.
You know, taking the train, the subway every single day to the city. So it was an experience rather than, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And you know, it was just something that we could go home and tell our parents about, be happy about, tell our friends. It was a flex at the time.
Oh, for sure.
And then I had to go back to high school. It's not like I could drop out.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me download Robinhood. And then at the time, Robinhood was brand new. So even my dad was like, don't download these types of apps because he doesn't know if it's protected by the FDIC.
Yeah.
But I ended up downloading Robinhood and deposited my first like 5K. At the time, I was selling shoes, like Yeezys.
Yeah.
And that's where it started.
So you just were earning money selling shoes, like flipping shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, Yeezys were $200. You could sell them for $2,000.
So what was the operation for that? How do you get the Yeezy in the first place?
I had a
and flip
bot.
it?
Yeah,
Oh,
as soon
really?
as I got to high school, I was like 14. I had a bot, and that's when shoes were the hottest.
Yeah.
And every time the drop would happen, I'd make like 5 to 7K per drop.
Really?
Yeah, it was quick.
Yeah, that's wild. And so you took that money, put it into Robinhood, and then what happened next?
Robinhood. So when I got into Robinhood, I was only making like 10, 20 bucks. I was still trying to understand it. That internship, people think I went to Wall Street and like traded.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
No one on Wall Street trades unless you're at like the floor.
Exactly.
Like a trading floor broker.
And
like,
even there, you're executing on like the client's behalf. Like they'll tell you like a price range. Like I started learning that like later on, where like the brokers aren't even really making any decision making, right? They're like, the clients are telling them, hey, I want to get into Apple today. And they try to find the best opportunity for that during the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up depositing like 5, 6K originally. Started making a few bucks, losing a few bucks, you know, up and down maybe 40 bucks a day. Then I deposited another 5K and just continued to deposit, you know, more money until I got to like 24, 25K to make it like a margin account.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into options. But at the time when I was trying to get into options, it was like rocket science because YouTube didn't have as many educational videos on it. And when I looked up videos and had videos like try to teach me on YouTube, the explanation was just way too hard. Like one contract
I
is
read a whole
100
book
shares.
on options. I still don't know what the fuck.
Really?
Options are.
You haven't got into that?
No, I was dabbling in it for a little bit, but just like, it was just like, I was like, this is way too complicated. I'll just stick with my penny stocks. That's what I'm good at. That's what I know. Like, why am I trying to get out of what I'm good at and what I'm known for? So I just gave up.
And that's what I tell people. Like, if you see someone switch often online where they're switching to forex, to crypto, to like, if they're switching back to back to back, obviously there's cycles in the market where things get hot. It's just, it doesn't make any sense because whatever works for you, you should just continue to take advantage of it. But yeah, at the time, and I ended up buying contracts for a stock called Micron Technology, MU. And I didn't know it had earnings that day.
Yeah.
When I woke up in the morning, my account went from like $24,000 to like $83,000.
Yeah.
I could have had an account worth $0.
Yeah.
And then I started taking it slowly, and I would start playing with like 2 contracts at a time, and it was back to like making $100 to $200 a day, or losing $200.
Yeah.
So I took it slow for another like 3 months, and then I started mixing shares and options because now my account balance was, you know, big enough. Because at the time, Roku just came out. They had an IPO. Those were cheap stocks. Square also was a new stock. But yeah, my account grinded slower and slower throughout the year. And then Netflix was another big trade I had that year, which took me to like $400,000 or $500,000 in my account.
Really?
Yeah, that was a hot year for Netflix.
And so this was just like, did you have any periods of blowing your account up, or did you never blew it up?
So this is like the crazy part. Like the only people who can like see this, because I wasn't documented at the time, was the kids I went to school with.
Yeah.
There was a time where I got stuck in MU because Citadel, I believe, ended up taking a short position. And I got stuck in that position for 3 months. And throughout those 3 months, it was the most stressful thing ever. It was like shares. And that was at the time where I had like 250,000.
Yeah.
And I just kept adding to the position. I didn't feel like getting a haircut. I wore the same clothes every day to school. It was a bad time.
How old were you at this time?
16, 17.
Really? So yeah. You started super young. I didn't start until I was, I guess, 20, 21, 20.
Yeah.
2005. Yeah. So that's crazy. Brief interruption here, guys. Did you know that 75% of traders have accounts under $25,000? This creates a huge problem because even if you double that account in a year, which is almost impossible, you're still only making $25,000. Introducing Hydra Funding, where you can potentially get access up to $500,000 in capital. All you have to do, guys, is sign up for a challenge account, which is going to give you potentially access up to $500,000. And if you earn a 10% profit in this demo account without going into a 5% loss overall or a 4% loss in a day, you will then pass their evaluation phase and yes, get access to an account with the selected size account. And now, instead of trying to double a $10,000 account, you could potentially earn only 10% on a $100,000 account to earn the same level of profits. And the benefits of this are huge. Rather than risking your entire $10,000 on one account, you can use just $1,000 to potentially get access to $100,000 in capital. You can trade crypto, forex, stocks, CFTs, gold, oil, everything under the sun, all on MT4 and MT5. If you're interested, if you have an account under $25,000, like 75% of traders out there, you're not going to make any money with that account because it's too small. Get access to pro level funding and pro level capital with Hydra Funding. Link's going to be below. It's just so interesting to see such a younger demographic getting started and everything because you have that ability now. Like when I started in 2005, it wasn't like a thing for people to make Wi-Fi money or trading or even to get involved in that. It was like me and Tim Sykes. We were kind of like the OGs of kind of getting into the space of doing like online marketing, lifestyle marketing, buying cars, showing it off on the Instagram and all that stuff. So it's crazy just to see how young people are getting and making millions because it's possible. If you have the network and you have the knowledge. A lot of people think it's smarts. It has nothing to do with smarts. No. It's just, did you get access to the right knowledge? Which usually comes by the right people or by what you watch. Like you watch me on YouTube, which opened the door to learning different various things.
You have some 17-year-olds making like $1 million a month right now.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
No,
because I didn't have that when I was 17.
No.
My early years from basically 16 to 32, my main focus was getting fucked up.
Yeah.
And getting drunk, doing drugs. That was kind of like, all right, Friday and Saturday, that's what I want to do this week. And that's like my top priority. I was obviously making money and having success on the side, but like my business, I could have done way better if my focus would have been more so on my business. But at the time, it just wasn't even like to see 25-year-olds driving nice cars, like some, but it wasn't like here in fucking Miami, seems like every fucking 20-year-old's driving a G or a fucking Lambo. It's just like, it's insane how much abundance there is.
You had a boat at the time, right?
Yeah, I had 3 cars and a boat, and I was just like...
I remember that.
I got, and I think everyone's going to go through this who are continually buy shit, is you eventually run out of stuff to buy, and you're just like... Because at the end of the day, yeah, you do it for pleasure, but also, we all run businesses, and what does that bring? It brings attention, which brings leads, and so it's just like, I just got so sick of the lifestyle marketing of playing this person, which is part of who I am, but I was like... Now I got to do another thing. I got to buy another thing.
Everything has to be bigger than the last.
Yeah. So it's been wild. And now Alex FXG, Lambo just bought Bugattis, and now it's just like that's becoming like the new like baseline and shit. You just bought a brand new Lambo. What's what one you get?
I just bought 2. The one of them is the Storado. It's off road, and then I bought a Urus SC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, if I moved back to the U.S., I know I'd go down that road again. I'd start buying a bunch of toys. And
the difference is I waited like. I was always scared to go broke.
Yeah.
So like just, NBA players ended up leaving the league and losing all their money. That was the one thing I was scared about. So I didn't spend money until like I had like 3-4 million in the bank. Then I bought a McLaren 600 LC when I was 20 years old. Yeah. So when I got that, then I was like, okay, I'm good. Yeah. And then later to find out I wasn't good. I wanted more.
It never stops, bro.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Yeah, that's why I left. I was just like, fuck this shit. Selling all my shit.
I still get joy in simple things though. Like not simple things, but like little things like the watches. I love watches. Yeah. Watches. But like clothes, cars, that's like whatever. Like I can't get in a car and get excited anymore. Yeah. It has to be like extremely different.
Yeah. And it's hard to explain that to someone who doesn't have that. But it's just the nature of materialistic goods. Money doesn't buy happiness. It can buy a lot of comfort. It can buy a lot of joy in the sense of like experiences, but like the excitement of buying something material only has a finite amount of time before you're like, okay, well, I got to buy something else now to get that high again.
Yeah, and it only lasts a day or two.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So anyways, why don't you explain the difference between a stock and an option for someone who's watching right now. The last time I looked up anything on options, it's been so long. Like I still don't even know right now how an option versus share works.
So obviously with shares, it's when you buy a share of a company, you're buying the stock. So for example, Tesla, let's say that's $330. You're buying one share, which costs you $330. So if it moves up $1, you only make $1. With options, if it moves up $1, it's dependent on the delta of the contract. So each contract has its own Greeks. So Greeks are theta, delta. Those are the two most important ones. Delta tells you how much you'll make per dollar move on the contract or dollar move on the stock, and it'll tell you how much it'll pay you per contract. So the difference is when you buy a stock, that thing doesn't go to zero, right? There's no time decay. It's just if it goes up $1, down $2, that's how much you're making per contract.
It's equilibrium on each side, basically.
Exactly. And there isn't, you can't go negative. You can't drop to zero unless you're playing with like these crazy penny stocks, which I never got into. Options, when you buy an option, it's a contract which you don't have the obligation to execute, but every Friday they expire, right? So as you get closer to expiration date, the volatility in those contracts move crazier. So for example, Monday, when I bought Tesla today, I made about 13% on the position, right? As we get closer to expiration date on contracts, because you're getting closer to the death of those contracts. I compare it to like life insurance. When you're younger, you get paid a lot more for life insurance. As you get closer to expiration date, when you get older, you're gonna get paid a lot less. Or your contract's gonna be worth a lot less.
The probability of dying is
exactly high. So it's a very high risk taking that chance. So as you get closer to Friday, contracts are cheaper because of time decay, and also they're gonna move a lot quicker. So like if the stock moves up $1 on a Monday, you might get 12%. But if it was $1 on a Friday, you'll get like 30%.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the difference. And then as far as contracts, you can allow them to execute and they'll turn into shares. So all contracts turn into shares if you hold them till expiration, as long as you have the money in your account. So one contract is equivalent to 100 shares. So if you have one contract, you have 100 shares if you let them execute, if you have enough in your account. But most of the time, you're not going to have enough.
And so then if you let it execute, then you just have shares. Then you got to sell those shares to earn your profit, or is the profit already baked into that?
It's already baked into that. Nobody does this unless you're like institutions and hedge funds. That's kind of why they have contracts. And it also is a way for institutions and hedge funds to hedge their positions. So let's say they have a big Tesla position in their portfolio. Maybe they'll buy puts a year out, but a very small position just to make up for the losses they would take on their long-term positions.
And so what about the aspect of it going to zero on a losing trade? Because obviously if you're buying Tesla at $300, it's got to go to zero. But if you're on an option contract, how does that go to zero?
So as you get closer to Friday, so like Monday, it's very hard to go to zero. Like, I mean, you have to like really like have the worst position possible. But for the most part, on a Monday, you're never going to go to zero. Tuesday, you're never going to go to zero. But once Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, positions start going to zero because let's say you buy out the money contracts. There's in the money, at the money, and out. In the money, at the money, and out the money. Out the money is the most risky because you're buying further away contracts. So for example, if the stock's at 330 and you buy 350 calls, basically you're betting on the stock pushing up to 350. If it doesn't get to 350 or if it stays in the same spot or lowers, the chances of it getting to 350 by Friday as time goes on decreases. So the value of your contracts decrease. So Wednesday and Thursday.
Like playing the odds.
Exactly. And the whole point of contracts is to take advantage of the premium flips. For example, if I find a position or a consolidation on Tesla and I'm finally finding an area where it can break out or showing divergence, I can take advantage of a $4 move. People think if I buy 350 calls on Tesla, I have to hold to 350 and I can only make money if it hits 350. But a $4 move can pay me 30, 40% on my position. So that's the difference. At the money, you're playing with less risk, and then in the money, you have the least amount of risk because it's already in the money. Meaning that the chances of this expiring above 330 when it's at 340 is extremely high because you're $10 into the money. And that's what these politicians are doing, and all these big institutions and the hedge funds, they buy extremely in the money, maybe like $100 in the money 6 months out, so they can take advantage of the premium gain with the least amount of risk as far as, you know, the contract value. The problem with that is if you buy...
Pelosi are we talking about here? Or
excuse me?
Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah, exactly. So like for NVIDIA, the stock's at 140. She'll buy like $90 calls a year out. And people are wondering like, why do that? But she's putting $5 to $10 million in that position. Makes the most sense. But that's the idea of contracts right there. In the money is the safest, at the money is safer, and then out the money is most risky.
Yeah.
And Monday and Tuesday, I'll play out the money. And then as we get closer to Wednesday and Thursday, I'll play at the money. And then Friday, I'm playing in the money just to be as safe as possible.
So you're only doing options.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're day trading it, or is it swing trading?
I'm day trading.
Yeah. So why don't you walk us through kind of like a typical morning and like what you do with your students and what is your kind of approach to finding the opportunity and then executing on that?
Okay. So like back when I first started, I used to do like 3 hours at night of chart work.
Yeah.
And that was just because, you know, I'm trying to find resistance, support, all those things were like a big thing. Like it takes some time for me. And then nowadays I'll wake up in the morning an hour before the market, an hour and a half before the market, put together my top 5. And as we get closer to the open, about 30 minutes, I'll narrow it down to the top 2 plays. The things that I'm looking at in the morning are what's, you know, showing divergence against the market. For example, the S&P 500 and QQQ, right? NASDAQ and then the S&P 500. What's stronger or the strongest compared to the market, and what's the weakest against the market? And then I look at those and then I find those, and then
as in
that,
you're looking for like, if the S&P is strong, you're looking for a weak stock within the S&P?
So like, let's say the S&P is up or the NASDAQ's up 1% for the day, pre-market.
Yeah.
I'm looking at stocks that are up 2, 3, 4%, showing me strength. And then I'll look at stocks that are down below like 1%, 2%. Because now I'm looking at the stocks that are extremely strong against the market and extremely weak.
Yeah.
So what I like is when I see something that's weak and the market is strong, for example, because if the market ends up getting weak, that's going to be the first stock that gets affected, because the overall market gets affected when NASDAQ and the S&P 500 comes down. So for example, Meta today, I took that trade as well. Meta was falling as the market was increasing, and there was a key level at 550, right? At that 450 or 550, one of those. And that was my key level. So as the market was pushing, this was still like either dropping or consolidating. So I had my eyes on it. When the market had its first red candle this morning, Meta was the first stock to get affected.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking Meta to the downside for a quick $2 scalp. It was about 9%.
Yeah.
And I took advantage of that type of move. Obviously, I could have got more, but the divergence plays are the easiest plays to deal with because you have something to compare to. It's not just the stock, key levels, supply zone, demand zone, resistance, support levels.
So it's got outside influence that's going to affect what you're looking at.
And that's what I like, because I can at least have something to depend on or look at to compare to the stock that I'm trading.
Yeah, as opposed to just looking at it, stock or option as an individual. You can see, okay, this is a setup that looks good, but there's also going to be an external influence to push it in the direction that I'm hoping for. Yeah.
And that's why I like divergence plays, because I can at least get a feel of where the market's at and where my stock is at.
Yeah, so you're basically building a daily bias and then picking an individual stock.
Correct. And then I have to find the key levels after that. But the first thing is finding what's weaker and what's stronger.
Yeah. And what are you looking at as far as like chart patterns? What's your kind of go-to?
I'm not into the crazy chart patterns. I keep it fairly simple. If it's a trend line, if there's some trend lines that, you know, a downtrend or uptrend, I still needed to have a key level near that trend line for me to even play that stock. If it's just a downtrend and it breaks, I'm not playing those, because there's too many like false breakouts and it's like a waste of a trade. Because a lot of people are playing with cash accounts. I have the option to, you know, get in and get out if it doesn't work out. Some people have like 1 or 2 trades that they can catch for the day. So I have to be very patient with that. And that's like what what switched my like trading style, is the people I have watching me every single day. But that's like the main part. But for the most part, I'm using key levels and psychological levels. For example, like Tesla's psychological levels are every like $2.50, where there's like a wall that pops up on level 2, but the key levels are usually every like $10.
Yeah.
And I'm using
key level as in like a supply and demand zone, support resistance.
Supply and demand zones. So I'll use those to my advantage. But the first thing that comes first is divergence, find the divergence, then find the key levels, and then trend lines I'll only play if there's key levels.
Yeah.
I don't use any studies on my screen. I might have an EMA on my screen, but I'm not using it to take positions. I might use it to hold my positions longer. Yeah. But I don't have like VWAP and MACD and RSI. I don't have any of those on my chart.
It's indicators can be helpful as like finding confluence, but they don't do anything as far as making the decision for you, because they're all lagging. So it's a lot of people get too caught up. What indicator should I use? Like I have indicators that are included in mine. Yeah. Like they're helpful, but they're not necessarily needed.
Yeah. And like when I first started, if you go back to like my first YouTube videos for like the first year, I was looking at RSI and I was looking at MACD and I was looking at all these different things to, you know, kind of push me into the direction of taking a position. Yeah. Which later I found out it's like I got lucky with a lot of those plays, but they really don't mean too much when you're in that trade. Just because RSI is telling you this is overbought
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's not going to move another $5, $10 to the upside. So I just use tape.
I have custom indicators that I made that are kind of versions of RSI and MACD. The problem with anybody who is trying to use indicators that are free is that there's no edge, because there's hundreds of thousands or even millions of people looking at this same indicator. In order to have any sort of edge in the market, you need to be looking at something a little bit differently than the masses. And the masses are all using RSI, MACD, so there's no edge. So there's not going to be any real benefit unless you're looking at it in a different way than what most people are doing. Like if you can use RSI a little bit differently by looking at divergences in RSI, as opposed to just looking at strength and weakness of overbought and oversold.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people might only do that. You can also use it to look at divergence. Like the one that I created was kind of like a
I think I've seen
RSI. Yeah, it's called degenerate. But that is, it'll give you a lot more divergent signals than a normal RSI would. Same with the MACD version of it. So it's just a little bit different.
When I say indicators, like the new traders, they have like 40 different things on that chart. I don't even know how you see the candles sometimes. It's crazy. So I don't understand.
At the end of the day, the best analysis is just price.
Correct. Yeah, and times the sales level too.
Yeah.
That's the problem I have with like forex though. Like you don't get the tape on forex. I don't understand what.
Yeah, like I've been trading forex recently. There's different various things you can look at from a fundamental perspective that can show you different ways to look at where fundamentals might be driving price. But as far as like internal data, there's none. You're just looking strictly at supply and demand.
And I heard there's you could have a different price on one broker than the other broker.
I think so. Yeah. It's the same. That's the same as in crypto as well.
That's wild.
Yeah. Like you can go to Bybit, Binance, Blowfin, CoinW. Those are all ones that I've used in the past, and price is going to be different on every one of them.
That's scary.
It's weird. How does it all line up?
I don't know if I could do that.
Because it's all different money flow on all these different exchanges, and it's not like a centralized one exchange. It's all different, so the prices can all be different. If there's like a different liquidity levels or different like amount of traders trading, there can be some random fucking sell-off spike because a huge whale got stopped out or something on one broker that wasn't on another. So you might see some random spike on just one individual broker.
And it doesn't affect the price?
It can influence it, but it might be a fraction of that move.
Got it.
Because one broker will see that there is a big sell-off, and so the other one will be like, oh shit, we're selling.
I had crypto at one point in my life, but I just had it because I was on stake.
Yeah.
And it was a great period because I had an account of like 350 in there. And that account went to like 830,000, but that was off of just me holding my Bitcoin in that wallet. So other than that,
Crypto's
I have no
fucking
idea.
Wild, dude.
Yeah,
it's a different beast. It's like because I was in stocks for 16 years up until I left the USA, and I was doing the whole like travel and trade lifestyle thing. And that's probably what you saw until it's like I can't do this. This is fucking staying up until 3 a.m. like regularly to like catch trades. It's just not sustainable. So doing stocks, travel and trading, and that can be fun for like a very short period of time. Or if you go to like South America, it's perfect because it's the same time zone as West Coast or East Coast. But as far as like traveling Asia and trading stocks, it's miserable.
You like crypto, obviously?
Yeah, so that's why I switched to crypto. Well, I didn't trade anything for 2 years. I thought I was done. I was like, fuck trading. This
You just
sucks.
retired?
Yeah, I quit.
Really?
I was like, I'm done. Just because it was, one, I just had been doing it for so long. The vlogging thing was getting exhausting. Trading was getting exhausting, especially because I had been doing it now, I think, for about a year and a half abroad.
Yeah.
And I just I wasn't getting any sleep. So I was just miserable all the time. So I stopped, and then I started going into like building courses around entrepreneurship. Like basically, how did I build a multi-million-dollar business in trading for education? How can I transfer that into a product for other people who want to do YouTube, Instagram, social media, and then market their courses? So I did that for briefly. I didn't make nearly as much money as I was doing trading and doing trading education.
Yeah.
And so it was like a finite period of, okay, this isn't even fun. I'm not making that much money doing this anymore. Like I still had savings and stuff, but it was just like, okay.
You were with Aman Gadzi back then, right?
Yeah.
That's funny because I only know him because of you.
Yeah.
And when I was 16, he was basically my age, and that was your like marketing person.
Yeah.
So you were really the original founder of Aman Gadzi.
Yeah.
Now he's exploded.
Yeah, he's fucking blown up because he was on this show. Like I started this show, The Profile, 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
And he was one of the first guests that we had on. We went to.
You still stay in contact with him?
I probably haven't talked to him in about a year, but yeah, we're still in touch. But yeah, I went out to London with my old videographer Norbert and went and partied, shot a vlog. That's when I was doing the different style of show where we would go do something together and then we'd go do an interview. So like we went over and
over to his place at like 5 a.m., went and got a pump in with him and his trainer, and then we went and got some food, came back, and then had a vlog. But yeah, and then he went and he did all the marketing. He was doing the ads and stuff for my trading product. And then when I launched the entrepreneur product, he did the ads and marketing for that as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting to see how much he's blown up in the last recent years.
Yeah,
so,
last 4.
So I was doing the entrepreneur thing, and then all of a sudden COVID hit, and all of a sudden, like, I hadn't uploaded a video to YouTube in fucking, I don't know how many years, probably 2 years since my
I remember
video that I
looking
made
for a
where I
video
didn't,
and it was never there.
I basically went on YouTube and announced that I'm done, I'm retiring, this is it. Like, I'm in Bali, the market opens at 10:30 p.m. here, it's just not sustainable. And then all of a sudden, COVID hit, all of a sudden all my trading videos started blowing up, like the ones that I had posted years ago. I was like, why? Yeah, just out of nowhere, because everyone was online looking for ways to make money or do something. I was like, why is my YouTube channel blowing up all of a sudden? And that's when I was like, shit, I really don't like what I'm doing with this entrepreneur thing. And it was working, but I just wasn't enjoying it. And then so I got back into stocks briefly. And then I was just like, okay, I definitely can't fucking do this. And then a buddy of mine who was a forex trader, he just DM'd me and goes, bro, buy XRP. I was like, what the fuck is XRP? Like, I had no involvement in crypto. I was kind of like a troll for crypto, kind of talking shit on the side about it always.
For sure.
And then so I started looking at XRP, and I just started looking at all these other altcoins, and I started realizing a lot of the patterns that were showing up in these small cap altcoins were the same exact patterns that I was trading in stocks for 16 years. And that just kind of led to me exploring that. And I had a decent amount of early success in it just because the patterns were the same, and I didn't have to fucking be up in the middle of the night to trade it, because I was a swing trader also at this point. My main patterns that I traded were swing trading. And so that just led to me being able to basically do the same thing I was doing in stocks, but do it from anywhere in the world without being time constrained to fucking New York, which was basically like a prison for me. Anywhere I went in the world, and I was traveling for probably 3 years, I had to be constrained to New York time. So that was just something that was...
And the benefit was it was 24/7, so you could just set your stop loss, your profit
It's just
target.
set and forget.
Yeah,
you find the pattern that you want to get in, you're either getting in real time as you're doing it, or you set your entry at a level you want to get in with your SL and TP.
You was using leverage off the beginning or no?
At the beginning, I just went straight to spot.
Okay.
And then what happened was I bought into XRP at like 20 cents, and it pumped to $1 in like a couple of weeks.
That. That was like one of the first videos I saw, the return of you with the XRP video.
Yeah. And so that kind of launched me into like, okay, shit, maybe I'm getting back into trading, which is wild, because I literally thought I was done. I was like, I don't think I'll ever trade again. Like, I don't need to. Like, there's nothing, there wasn't any like a draw for me to want to do it again, because I liked living in Asia. I didn't see myself moving back to the US. And the only way to do it was if I wanted to stay up and work all night, which I did not want to do. And so, yeah, it just opened up the door to doing the crypto thing. Turned 20K into like 1.7 million that year. I did like 5 million course sales that year, which was just wild. Like, I put together the course in like 30 days. Launched the funnel, because I just built the whole blueprint about how to sell courses. That was my entrepreneur business. So I just plugged and played that. Boom, launched that, did like 500K in sales that month with the crypto course, and just crushed it that year in crypto. So it's been an interesting journey with crypto. The problem with crypto is that you have finite windows to make a lot of money. And then the bear market, like this last bear market, I think it was like maybe 700 days or something.
Yeah.
And so there's opportunities there, but it's not like the bull market where you're just making bank, where there's a lot of money to be made.
I'm guessing you're cooking right now.
Yeah. Things are on fire right now. So it's the problem with crypto, again, is it's finite windows of opportunity where your business can go that. Your business does that, your profits do that, and then when things go down, the business dies down, because most people lose all their money and try to hodl. There's just all this manipulation and bullshit.
Yeah.
It's the fucking Wild West.
Twitter
bro.
is the craziest place if you want to find things like that.
Yeah. No, even like I had Colin on yesterday, and we were talking a lot about it. He's doing a lot of stuff in all these meme coins, which is it's just crazy. Like, all the movement right now in crypto is fucking meme coins.
Yeah, they call it altcoins, right? Or is that separate?
Anything outside of Bitcoin is altcoin.
Okay.
So, but meme coins are just like, anything can be a meme coin. It's like, there's altcoins that actually have like a purpose, where they're trying to build something, like build a product, a usable, tangible asset that has utility, something that people can use for some purpose. Meme coins are just straight up, here's some stupid face of a dog. It means nothing, but if y'all want to speculate on this, that it might go up, then it might.
Yeah.
And so there's this, Luke Belmar was saying in another podcast, he's like, it's the most purest form because you know exactly what you're getting.
Correct.
Because you're not wondering, oh, is the project going to be good? It's going to work out. It's just, here's this fucking dog face. Do you want to buy it or not?
And it
it's
either
all
works or doesn't.
yeah, so it's just, it's a very weird game. But like, yeah, I just took this trade on this, it's called Cat. And I just made, like the first trade was 100 grand or 92,000. Second trade was 20 grand. It's just like, those are the ones that are moving. And it's like, it's weird because they don't fucking mean anything.
Yeah.
They're just dumb. People are buying into it.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Do you have any involvement in crypto or no?
No, that was the only time when I was really heavily like gambling on stake.
Yeah,
I would have to just keep my Bitcoin and Ethereum to use on the stake website.
Yeah. And Stake is what, a gambling betting platform?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very big back then. I think now it's like they're cracking down on it.
Yeah.
But your wallet on there was crypto.
Really?
Like that's how they were able
Which
to
is
be
interesting because it's US based as well, right?
now it's US based.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met the owners recently, like a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, very smart guys. They actually ended up opening or creating Kick, which is a streaming platform now.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
they started Kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is basically like a
They signed
Twitch
Aiden Ross.
alternative. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Are you streaming on Kick or no?
No, I was just Twitch, YouTube, and one more. Forgot. One other one.
Yeah.
I stream all of them at the same time off of OBS or Streamlabs, something like
Yeah.
that.
And is that a paid thing or is that?
No, that's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you stream every day, every
Every
day of the
single day.
week?
As long as, like, for example, I couldn't do it today. I was at the coffee shop, but
Yeah. So why do you do it for free? Is it like the lead magnet into someone else? What else you can show people for education?
I do it live in the Discord.
Yeah.
And that's $1.99 a month.
Okay.
But we offer free lessons, free courses every single day. Like every night we teach for an hour. And people can ask any questions they want. We answer them. And then during the day, I live trade, pre-market review, and then trade ideas. Then for the stream, I just put a 5-minute delay so they can at least learn.
Okay.
Maybe not be in with
So the
me.
stream is free, 5-minute delay, but there's
Correct.
real-time version
Exactly,
of it also?
which is
Okay,
the
cool.
Discord.
Yeah. Because I guess if you're day trading, it needs to be.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be fair to the
Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah.
For sure. I was
is
going to
that,
actually ask you something specifically because you're the only person that can really answer this. You've been trading for a long time. After a certain amount of experience, right? Obviously, you've been trading for what, like almost 20 years?
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. At what point does your trading imagination or like the learning phase, when does that like plateau? I feel like it's plateauing for me, and I don't know if that's something that's normal after like 8 years now, or
I mean, yeah, I guess there was because there's definitely the learning phase. You're going through, you want to learn as much as possible.
yeah.
And I think there's probably like a law of diminishing returns at some point where you're learning too much. You're taking in too much information and it might be distracting you from what's working. And I always went by the KISS method, keep you simple, stupid, which is trying to find what fucking works and stick with that. But there's also the dynamics of the market where the market changes and maybe your strategies aren't working anymore. Like that's what kind of led to me starting to short as well, because I started out primarily as a breakout trader. And then I kept just getting caught in a bunch of false breakouts.
Yeah.
And then it turned into what I called the FU pattern, which was called the fuck you pattern.
I remember that.
Which just means it's breaking out and then boom, it just turned into a trap and you short the trap. So I think there is always stuff to learn. Like even now that I'm kind of shifting into more of forex, because that's also 24/7, something that I can trade in Asia without being constrained to New York stocks. Like the way forex moves is 100% different than altcoins or stocks. It's just, you can still have the same principles as far as like supply and demand, but just the way price action moves, and like they call it like market structure or ICT, MCT, smart money concepts, all this bullshit. But I've been learning a lot more about that. And I am taking some of that stuff that I'm learning and also implementing it into crypto trading right now. And it is helping, actually, looking at things in a little bit different way than all the knowledge I had in stocks, and just try to transfer that into crypto, which worked. I'm now learning more stuff that's coming from the Forex side.
But that's
of
also
price
you
action.
going into like a new side of trading. But as far as like stocks, for example, how long did it take you to be like, I'm kind of plateauing? Because like after the first year, you start seeing like new things. Even after 2, 3, 4 years, you can find different ways to make more money in the market. And honestly, the biggest year I've ever had was 2022.
Yeah.
That was like my breakout year. Like my best month was $860,000.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
I think my best month ever was about 443 in crypto.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's like after years like of just like, I finally opened up and, you know, something clicked that
Yeah.
year, but it took, what is that, 6 years? Yeah, 6 years. And then ever since after that, I've kind of plateaued and made the same amount of money.
Yeah.
Not 860,000, but like my average month is anywhere between like 3.
Yeah. I think that's more so not to do with knowledge barriers. I think that has to do with the market opportunities.
Okay.
Like people are a lot of times I think people are like, how much can I expect to make a month? And I'm like, well, it doesn't.
Can't answer that.
You can't answer that because it all depends on, one, what is your strategy, and is the market presenting your strategy
Correct.
to you? Because you have to wait for the market to present to you the opportunity. You can go look for it, but if it's not there, the market has to feed you the opportunity, and you have to have the knowledge and preparation to meet that opportunity.
Correct.
So it's all just about, is the market presenting the opportunity, and do you have the know-how to take advantage of it? Just like talking about the crypto, it's finite windows of these crazy bull runs that last anywhere between 3 to 9 months or so. And if you're not there to take advantage of that, then
It's over.
it's over.
Yeah.
Like that's why you can have, like, you had a breakout year 2022. That was when crypto had a bull run as well.
Yeah.
I had a super solid year that year, but then after that, crypto was down for the next 600-700 days. So I don't think it's necessarily, I don't know about a plateau, but I think it's just sometimes the market presents opportunities more than others. And it just depends on, sometimes you might have fucking bet way bigger than you would have because you were a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
And then there's also the opportunity or the situation where you want to feel that high again. And so you bet again
And you're wrong.
and you're wrong.
Yep.
And you to get fucking
Been there.
smashed.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about like, you said your biggest month was like 800K. What about like, what was kind of like the point where you kind of felt like some sort of rock bottom almost, and you kind of had to recover from the situation when it came to trading?
I would say rock bottom.
Where you just like, shit, I just fucked up.
Well, other than me starting out like the first year, because everybody goes through the big ups and downs the first year. I would say like 2018 when I went to college. At that time, I was averaging anywhere between like $5,000 and $10,000 a day.
Yeah.
I got stuck there, and I felt like it was like the max, like it was capped.
Yeah.
And my vision wasn't big enough to see that there was a lot more money in the market. But when I would go on Instagram, I would see all these traders make fucking $40,000 a day, $50,000. I'm sitting there like, what am I doing wrong? And that was a big struggle because like every day I would put in the work, like 3 hours at night, like I told you. And then in the morning, I would wake up 2 hours early. And it still wouldn't increase the amount that I would make during the day. And at that time, I was just like, are they just holding a lot longer than me? Or are they going in with a lot more in their position? So I was like, let me try holding longer.
Yeah.
And when I tried that, I kept going from like plus 5, 10,000 to like negative 5, 10,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are they doing this? And then later, obviously, like after months and months of trading, I realized most of these traders online are fake.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with a competition with people who aren't even putting that real like, you know, money into the market.
Yeah.
I'm going through all this stress every single day to make, you know, something happen versus someone who's just sitting there clicking buttons on a paper account, and I have to deal with going up against that on social media.
Yeah.
And it was like a struggle because at that time I'm super young. I'm like 18 years old. So it was like, I'm posting this, but I don't feel like it's enough.
Yeah.
Versus this is some crazy numbers for an 18-year-old versus me going online and seeing, you know, a female or someone that's around my age posting $20, $30, $40, $50,000. And I'm sitting there like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah. There's like that complexity of like, do I even post this? 'Cause
Exactly.
like I'm not competing with these other people out there that are doing, that appear to be doing something bigger. There's a lot of that shit in forex as well, because
It's messed up.
forex can be so manipulated. Just
Correct.
anybody trading on an MT5, that can all be doctored, manipulated.
I know.
And it's just all, you don't know what to really believe anytime people showing screenshots of like their MT5. Like when I share screenshots of my crypto, it's my crypto broker with my QR code through Bybit. You can see that links to my account with real money. But with forex, it's a little different. Like even with like I'm trading forex right now, but I'm doing it on like a Hydra funding prop account. But it's all like, if I really wanted to, I could doctor that information.
Yeah.
And so that's why forex is such like a sketchy environment to be
I'm
trading.
happy I didn't get into that industry originally. I'm happy you were the person I found, because the struggles you went through at the beginning, losing money, I would see it in Bali. I used to watch those vlogs when I would have a bad day.
Yeah.
And I would go to those vlogs and see how you dealt with those bad days, whether you did yoga, meditated. And I really did study you growing up.
Yeah.
And I kept it fully legit, transparent my whole career.
Yeah.
I didn't sell anything. I didn't, post anything fake. Everything's been 100% documented. I've done live logins to my broker's TD Ameritrade for the past like 5 years coming into my trading career. Whether it was a bad month or a good month, I posted it. And I kept it fully legit so that, when it's all said and done, one day I could be looked at as one of the best or one of the most legit traders when I'm older. And obviously after you're 40 years old now, after, let's say your career ends, at least for me, I'll look at you and say, this was the only person other than Umar Ashraf that I can say that this was a real trader. And I could read through like trading for this long, and obviously you've been trading for a lot longer. After 8 years, I know exactly what's the BS online and what's not the BS.
It's like pretty easy to decipher now, but it's not when you're an 18-year-old with no knowledge, no network of anything on what's going on, and you just see it, and you just see Lambos and Bugattis, and it's like, oh shit, they're just making that doing
that was
trading.
A mental struggle though. That was like my biggest struggle back then.
Yeah, it's crazy. Speaking of which, we've both been featured on CoffeeZilla.
Correct.
And so, why don't you tell me about like your side of what happened with the whole CoffeeZilla thing?
All right. So the first time was 2019 or 2020, and at that time, that video got like 3-4 million views overnight.
Yeah.
And CoffeeZilla lives off of negative news reporting.
Yeah.
His negative reporting of me was I was getting my signals from other chats. It wasn't he ever scammed anybody, he took money. That he never said any of those things. The only thing he said and he's lived off of was Nour steals signals from other chats. And I let that go in 2020 because all it ever did was bring business to me.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you would think it's the opposite. People would
My business increased when he made a video about mine also.
Exactly. So for me, it was like, okay, this is a one-way direction here and one-way traffic. Why would I give the traffic right back? So I didn't respond. And then recently, I believe the spring of this year, he made another video.
Yeah.
And he brought the same thing up. And I'm like, yo, enough is enough. Like, this is something you talked about 5 years ago. You have nothing new to report. You couldn't even make up something fake at least to say like I scammed someone. So it'd be more fun to talk about. So I was like, okay, I'm older now. I can talk a lot better. And obviously I have more, of an influence in the trading world. Let me respond. So first thing I responded with was I showed him my case from the SEC, which nobody really knows about until that video came out.
Yeah.
I got subpoenaed by the SEC back in 2020. And I was only like 19 or 20 years old at the time. And they went through everything. Every single trade I've ever taken through Robinhood when I was 16 years old. Every text that I've sent about talking about or communicating about stocks. They went through my social media. They went through my marketing to match, okay, he said he made this during this period of time. Did he really make that? And it was very scary because like it could open up a can of worms where like it has nothing to do with trading, but they'll go through my finances and say, well, he missed this reporting into this. You know what I mean? Like
it's like getting audited.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was one of the scariest points in my life. But 6 months later, I did a deposition. They finished their investigation and it went away. Yeah. And that's like the most legit tracking. And I'll send you the file so we can put it on the podcast. That's the most legit tracking you could get. The SEC investigated me. Yeah. So I put it on the video and I said, here, the SEC investigated me. And if you think you're any better than the SEC, you should try to find anything. Then I offered him $100,000 to go through my broker accounts from 2016. Not the most recent ones where you could say like I gained my experience over time. Yeah. From the very get-go, I said, I showed it to him, like I did it on YouTube video, but people can fake screen recordings and stuff like that. But I did it on Safari and I said, yo, if you want to meet up, I'll offer you $100,000 if any of this is fake that I've posted on Instagram. Yeah. And he went on about like his safety and I'm like, okay, hire security. I'll pay for, pre link up, and he still declined it. Yeah. So it was an experience of just like putting him down and making him feel like he was the weak link for the first time. Because he sits in a basement all day to make negative videos. Yeah. Which I understand, that's his way of income.
Yeah, I mean, I respect him because he does bring to light some things that are pretty fucked up. But yeah, he also did the video about me because I was involved doing like a forex robot that I knew was going to be potentially bullshit, and it turned out it was. And I documented the whole thing. And then I made a response video, and then he responded to me. And then I was like, listen, man, if you want to like get on an interview and talk about this, about what actually happened, like I have no problem being transparent about what was actually going on. Mm-hmm. Basically what happened was I got shown data from a forex trading robot that appeared to be legit. And I was like, is this legit? So I put my own money in it, about like 50 to 100 grand, and it was running and working. Like it literally was just working every day until the problem is it was a martingale bot. So if you have infinite money to back up the bot, it will work. But the problem is, as the market pushes heavily in either direction, it'll continually bet bigger to counter once the market finally removes. But the farther it goes against you, the bigger position size builds. So if it continues to go, that position just keeps getting built bigger until you run out of leverage, and then you get stopped out and you wipe out your whole entire account. So that's what happened with the forex bot. It would work for a period of time until the market environment changed, and unless you change the bot in real time as the market shifted, then the account could blow up, and that's basically what happened. So, but I didn't know at the time. I didn't even know what a martingale bot was. I just had these guys who I kind of trusted at the time showing me this data, and I was like, all right, yeah, we can turn this into a product and sell it. Like, sure, why not? And I put my own money in, it worked until it didn't, and that's kind of when the whole CoffeeZilla thing came out about. And then I asked him if he wanted to do an interview. He deleted all my comments on his YouTube channel, and so I mean, I still respect the guy because I do watch his videos, and I think they're pretty funny and sometimes informative and I think useful. But yeah, sometimes he just doesn't. I mean,
he tried.
Yeah,
at least he tried.
Yeah. So
I didn't know about him actually. A lot of the people, like of at least my employees, knew who he was. I didn't until he made the video of me, and I started looking through. I'm like, the hell is this? Yeah. But I do see where he makes certain videos, like for example, the Logan Paul scam. That's an actual legit scam that went on. Versus like his thought on a product that's being sold. So it is what it is. But CoffeeZilla, just like, that's his job, and it's respectable because that's his only income source. He doesn't do real estate. I talked to Stefan about that. He doesn't do anything. The only thing he knows how to do is make videos. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. But now it's become like a whole niche. Like, honestly, my fucking YouTube feed at home, and I'm pissed that this happened, is all videos about that, of new people making videos like CoffeeZilla. Oh, yeah. Because I watched one, and now I get a bunch more, and I keep clicking on these things, and now my whole entire algorithm is like the downfall of KSI, like how now people are making videos about how CoffeeZilla, it's like how CoffeeZilla destroyed Logan Paul. And so it's like inception of CoffeeZilla style. Exactly. Talking about how CoffeeZilla made a video about someone to get more clout. So it's an interesting niche to be part of, I guess. But I guess people just people enjoy seeing people do bad. Like, if people are doing good, they want to see them do bad. They want to see them get taken out. Because, I mean, if I'm honest, if I look at a lot of people in the Forex space, or I come here to Miami, I'm like, how does everyone have a fucking Bugatti? What are they doing? Because I don't have a Bugatti. So I'm like, there's part of me that understands from that aspect when other people are doing better than you, then it's sometimes kind of like, what the fuck's going on? And so when you see something about a video saying, oh, the downfall of them, or they're doing something shady to get what they wanted, and you're like, oh, that's why. And I think that's why it's such a popular nation, why CoffeeZilla gets so many views on its videos. And it attracts a lot more attention. For example, when I bought my McLaren 600 LT, I got 10,000 likes. When I posted that I crashed it, I got 20,000 likes. You get what I mean? So like, it attracts the attention of more people when there's a negative versus a positive. So that's why, like, even like when I post my losing day, it attracts far more attention than just a regular green day, because they see that everywhere. Everybody's just posting green days rather than a red day. Okay, he's either being transparent or we're happy to see him lose money. So it's an interesting dynamic. But anyways, I wanted to hear your story. Jasper just sent me the link to the news article about you getting mugged in LA and getting robbed at gunpoint, and for what, about $1 million worth of stuff? Like, what the fuck happened there? Okay, so 4 days prior, I was in Miami. And I was at the Hard Rock. This is when I was with the owners of Steak, and we were gambling. That 4 days, I didn't sleep at all, like zero sleep. Back, wake up, teach, right back at the casino. And I made $470,000 at the casino that week. I'm very big when it comes to Baccarat, and that's like my game. So Baccarat? Yeah. I never even heard of that. Baccarat, that's why you see all the Asians play that specific game. That's the game, because it's the only odds in the casino that are 50-50. The exact odds are 51-49, but that's the closest you're getting to 50-50 in the whole casino. And that week I made $470,000, about $500,000. And I had it all in cash. 4 days later, I haven't slept. I take a flight to LA, and this is before I had a house. So I got an Airbnb. And at the time I was blowing up like videos are going crazy. Instagram, just everything was in my favor at the time. And I don't know what happened, how people found I don't post things in live form. Like today, I'm in Miami, but I'm not going to post I'm in Miami. I'll post I'm in New York. Maybe next week I'll post that I'm with you.
Yeah.
So everything's like later on. So that day, either someone followed me home or my friends at the time led those people to my house.
Yeah.
I went to sleep that night while people were at my house and I didn't sleep. So imagine 4 days of no sleep, how deep of a sleep you have.
Yeah.
And obviously I believe in protection. So I had my gun on the counter. And at the time I just knocked. They left my door open when they left, the back door. So when they left the back door, I can't hear if someone's breaking in. At least I can be prepared to deal with something like that.
Yeah.
I wake up to 3 guns to my head, yelling like imagine like gym class in high school or something, just yelling, and I have no idea what's going on. I fell asleep with my contacts, so when I wake up, everything's blurry.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm in a video game because when I got up, I put my shoes on first. I didn't, I swear to God. And when I got up, they were like, come upstairs, come upstairs. I go upstairs and they're like, where's the money? So they knew there was cash.
Yeah.
Right? And at the time, the cash was in the dryer. So at least I did something right. I put the cash in the dryer, but my watches were out and about and my clothes that I went shopping. I spent like $30,000 on clothes that day.
Yeah.
So they're all still in Dior bags, Amiri bags. So all they had to do was just grab the shopping bags like they were at the store. And when they asked me about the money, I smirked. And I don't know why I smirked. It was just, I just woke up.
Yeah.
Right? And they beat me with the gun, hit me with the gun, beat me up to the ground. And they kept asking for the money. I didn't answer. So they ended up grabbing everything on the way out. Even my, when you go on a trip, you leave your bag open.
Yeah.
They just grabbed everything, my underwear and everything, and ran out. And the person I was with called the cops. And by the time the cops came, the news reporters were already there.
Yeah.
Because in LA, you call the cops, they're not there for another 20, 25 minutes. The hills are crazy. And they got $1 million in watches, but they didn't get my cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. That's heavy.
It is. Yeah, for sure.
That's got to change your perspective on just your sense of security overall. Yeah.
That's crazy because I have security every day. That was the one day I didn't have security and that happened.
Yeah.
And I knew they were on the property. Like at 9 p.m. that night, I was with my friends outside. They were smoking hookah. So I stood with them and I heard a drop. Like someone jumped on the porch and I asked them, what was that? But like people in LA, since they were born in like a rich family, they don't think the way, someone, for example, from New York thinks. They're like, oh, it's just the pool, like whatever.
Yeah.
No attention to pay attention to. And after that, they left my door open. I stopped talking to them. I just cut off everybody from LA after that.
Yeah. So you think someone within it, because I guess you don't know who.
It's still, even if they had nothing to do with it, it's still disrespectful to leave someone's door open. It's no sense of like care.
Yeah.
It's like walk out and, all right, we'll talk to him in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
And plus knowing that I have some followers online, I have jewelry, cash, like this, the least you could do is lock my door.
Yeah.
So I cut off everybody and then I just ended up having no friends in LA.
Shit. So, but now you're still back in LA part-time or
I sold my house. I'm done. So now I'm trying to find a home here and I'm not sure where I'm going to go. But that was my first home invasion.
Trying to find a home here in Miami?
No, in New York.
In New York.
New Jersey, New York.
Yeah.
But that was my first home invasion that made the news. My second home invasion or attempt of a home invasion didn't make the news because I didn't call the police.
Yeah.
But they pulled up at like 4 a.m. again because they know.
This was in LA?
Yeah. And they know that I have to wake up at 6:30 to trade or 6 a.m. So they know I'm in deep sleep by 4:30.
Yeah.
So these are people that know me.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Damn. Do you think it's the same people? I guess they never got caught, right?
They took one of my phones back to their apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was in downtown LA where they came from. I got my watches back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So people got caught?
Yeah. And people thought I was doing this for insurance fraud.
Yeah.
I didn't even have insurance, but I ended up getting my watches back though.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. So are those people in trouble, in jail? Or
No,
what?
they don't. LA doesn't care about that stuff unless someone dies.
I guess it's petty theft. Like,
Yeah.
There's all these fucking crazy laws.
You're not even
over there
allowed
now.
to chase someone if they steal from the store.
LA is, California is fucked, dude.
Doesn't make sense.
No. Word, man. That's a fucking wild story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that honestly makes me not want to raise a family in LA because what if my wife's home alone, my kids? Those are all things that come into play when you're like older. You know what I mean? It's not just you that you have to worry about yourself. I can deal with a home invasion. They'll take something and I can replace it.
Yeah.
But like someone makes the wrong move, a trigger could be pulled by accident. Things like all those things are like serious things, and people deal with that every day.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been a different situation if you would have woke up and heard something and you have a gun.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden you have a gun there. You could have ended up killing somebody that day, and that would have been
I was
a whole
thankful.
other fucking
No, I think I would have died. There was too many people. Like, I was thankful that the door was open, but I was also mad at them. If the door was not open, I would have heard the glass and thought I could protect myself, not knowing there's 5, 6 people about to charge into my house.
Yeah.
And I, not only my watches would have been gone, I would have been gone as well.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
That's crazy, dude. So anyways, what's next for Nour? I guess you're gonna move to New Jersey, and then what do you kind of see for your next 5-year vision?
Next 5-year vision, I'm working on an app currently. It's a sports betting app.
Okay.
Obviously, that's picking up the most attention right now other than trading, and it's growing state by state right now. And I want to take advantage of that before it gets to all 50 states. For example, FanDuel is available in 22 states right now. And it's such a big thing, and it hasn't even been accessible to all 50 states yet. So I'm working on getting that done, but there's so much law and lawyers involved and things of that nature to get approved for something like that. So that's the goal for the next 5 years. As far as trading, I wanted to create a hedge fund and go from there, but that was an idea 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
After seeing what really goes on Wall Street and how hedge funds work, I rather much make those profits for myself and keep that money. Even though obviously it can be as big as possible, but the chances of that happening is very unlikely.
It's also the stress of you're not dealing with your money anymore. You're dealing with other people's money.
Yeah. So I'm going to stick to trading by myself. I do want to adapt to different markets like you do with crypto. I just haven't had the time to dabble into crypto yet.
Yeah. I think being multi-asset is definitely beneficial. Because just like, that's what kind of I learned about crypto was you have to be multi-asset because these runs happen and then they die and the market just kind of fucking just dies out. And during those down periods, you can still make money in crypto, but as far as your business and the overall interest in that, it just dies with it.
And it makes sense because that 6 months you get of that gap of it working, you'll make so much money that the next 2-3 years of it not doing anything, it really doesn't matter because you crushed it because you had the experience right there.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm actually working on a new course called Quantum Cipher, which is basically how do you become a multi-asset trader, take advantage of crypto bull markets and trade forex. You can trade forex. Forex isn't cyclical. Forex is just fucking stagnant.
Like
so
stocks.
You can trade, there can be a lot more year-round trading where forex, there's these windows of opportunities. Get in, you get out, and then you got to wait. So that's kind of what I'm moving on to next. But anyways, bro, it was a pleasure meeting you, man. I'm glad I could have inspired you in the early days and see where you've come from.
Childhood dream.
Yeah, bro.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Pleasure to meet you, man. For sure.